Good evening, welcome to Full Time Reds. It's me, Chris Bragg, it's Matt, and it's Kev. So for this, Liverpool 0, Derby 0. Liverpool went through 3-2 on penalties. We started a load of kids. We gave everyone a rest. All in all, just what you want from the League Cup. Are we all happy?
Delighted, mate. Absolutely ecstatic with that. When I was doing the show last night with Gav, I said I love the League Cup, and I love it for that reason, for tonight, because of who we got to see, how they played, how they reacted to, being under pressure, and how they coped with the full house and got a result. Over the moon. Absolutely delighted with it.
Matt, how did you find it?
Yeah, it was great. Going with the full kids at the start I didn't think we'd go that way. I thought Klopp would, have a few more senior players in there. I thought some guys would just want to play. Like I thought Mo would be knocking on his door asking to play in this game just to keep himself going because he's in good form. But to see basically 6 kids out there, in the midfield and attack, it was really interesting to see how they play. And you can tell that the way we play is, drilled through the academy at all levels, that they're playing the same sort of movements that you see, little triangles with the fullbacks and stuff like that. So it was good. And I was really excited to see Stefan Bajcetic play and was not disappointed. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, as it's already been pointed out by Osen, Arsenal, Spurs, and Chelsea all out. Newcastle may go for it big time. Definitely if United slip up against Villa tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, look, 3 big teams have gone out tonight. And I'll be honest, the only one that you might have expected was, City or Chelsea. That's a bit of a tough one. But you would expect Spurs to go out, and you certainly would. And you wouldn't expect Arsenal to go out at home. So, look, it's an opportunity for what you want. So, right, let's talk about the lineup. Let's start with the lineup, and then we'll go through. Because I'll be honest, it was a game in the first half of not many chances. So let's just talk about the team and what we thought about the team. So, Queven in goal, no real surprise. He's the cup goalkeeper. Does what he does. Ramsey started. Thought he was excellent. Really, really good. Good all-round play.
Strong.
Deceptively tall as well, to be honest, for a fullback. He's 6 foot, isn't he? But he doesn't...
Yeah.
The build-up, you don't think he is, but he's big lad, isn't he? So
you can see why he's had groin pain issues.
Definitely. Simicast, left-hand side. Standard.
Solid. Fine.
What you want. Everything you need. Phillips and Gomez makes sense. 4th and 5th choice centre-backs. Thought Phillips was solid. No real complaints. Meat and potatoes defending. Nothing wrong with that. It's what you need against Derby. Gomez, shaky moments. We can't deny it. He had the one blonde moment where he just played that blind pass back that went out for a corner. Yeah.
And McGoldrick gave him a bit of a headache when he came on physically. But other than that, look, I thought he led the line really well. And his distribution, he was always there. He was always an out ball. He was always safe on the ball when he had it. So it's kind of like what you want. The only thing that you notice that he doesn't have, and it's not his fault, you notice and you miss Virgil's passing range off that side. Now, look, there's Joe, Virgil's Virgil. Joe doesn't have that range. But he tried a few balls, and you don't mind that.
He's a decent passer. He's just not the level of Van Dijk.
Yeah, of course he's not. No.
But to be fair, who is? Jonathan saying it's all turning Spursy for Conte. We'll come to that later because
I haven't seen any results, so I don't know. I don't know what any of the full-time results were.
I'll tell you them, Kev. Arsenal for life's in the fan. There we go. Arsenal for life. Unlucky Derby. Arsenal 1, Brighton 3. Just thought I'd put that in there. That was the first score that came up. Newcastle went through against Palace 3-2 on pens. Forest 2, Spurs 0. Southampton went through on pens against Sheffield United. West Ham went through 10-9 on pens against Blackburn. That's probably worth watching the highlights later. Wolves beat Leeds 1-0. We went through. And City beat Chelsea 2-0.
Yeah.
So,
that's quite good.
Good game, really. So that's all been good. So anyway, back four, it was kind of the back four. I think we pretty much all
we all picked
that was the back four.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'll be honest. I thought Henderson and Jones would be involved because they both were on the bench at the weekend. But like you said, what we don't know is because of how thin the squad is at the moment with injuries and that, you don't know who's carrying what, and maybe they've just decided certain players, and this is one game too many, and they're just going to have to sort of suck it up with the kids. So, Bajcetic, number 6, I thought he did well. Did what you want your number 6 to do. Sensible passing, good interceptions. Don't think I would say with the midfield we're a little bit one-paced at times in the first half, but
yeah,
we are where we are. Bobby Clark, solid, did all right. Still young. Definitely probably isn't ready yet for the first team, but you can see the talent there.
He likes a bit of time on the ball, doesn't he? And you find that with a lot of younger players. But overall, his game, I thought he was tidy. I thought he was fairly tidy. Don't mind that at all.
And then
he had a really good run in the first half, Bobby Clark, where the midfielder came in to just take him out, and he just rode the challenge and kept going with it, which I was really surprised by because he's a pretty small guy. You could tell he's still got some filling out to do. So it was nice to see that he wasn't afraid to take on one of their midfielders and take the hit.
Someone's told me, Dub, West Ham went out on pens. Well, Sky Sports saying West Ham win penalties. So, do you know what? Sky Sports can't read. They actually finished West Ham 9, Blackburn 10, but they put West Ham went through. Even the Sky Sports app's having a dicky fit today. It's going on. Having a mare, bit like me. Chamberlain then. I thought he was really quiet and safe first half. Quite frustrated from a senior player. But I thought second half, he imposed himself on the ball a bit more, taking shots from distance. That's his game. Take shots from distance. And we'll talk about second half. He put some really good, clever balls in too. The likes of Elliott and that, who probably should do better with them. I meant a very, very young front three. So we had Leighton Stewart, who I'll be honest, I just felt Paul was isolated. Don't think he really got a kick apart from the one big chance, which we'll come to. But he's a young kid. It's the first time he's ever even been involved in squads, I think. Carvalho, lively in spells.
Yeah.
Nice first touch, but probably didn't quite grab the mantle he maybe hoped he would, because he's technically a senior player.
Yeah.
And go on, Kev, what's the other winger called? Because I'm never Fraundorf, who was quiet. I'll say quiet first half. The 15 minutes in the second half, I thought he gave the left back a bit more of a problem. And to be honest, was very unlucky with a cross he put in for Carvalho. So, Matt, first half, 0-0. Not many chances. Probably the best chance was probably Leighton Stewart's miss kick. I think we limited Derby to very few real chances, like half chances and all that. How are you feeling half time? Disappointed? What you expected?
Yeah, it was. I was pleased with the performance of the midfield because we've been having midfield issues so far this season. So to see a definite first time ever that Oxlade-Chamberlain, Bajcetic, and Bobby Clark had played together in a midfield three, I thought they played a solid game. They kept the ball ticking over. Like, we weren't getting overrun. We weren't losing the midfield battle, even if we weren't winning it. Chamberlain had the one nice chance about 15 minutes in, corner from the left, came in, the header out fell to him, and his volley, he smacked it right off the stanchion. Gave everybody just that brief millisecond of hope that we were going to see one of those Oxlade-Chamberlain goals. But yeah, it felt like it was settling into a pattern towards the end of the half where the game seemed to slow down. We have that chance from the turnover with Stewart. Just can't quite get the ball back into the net. But, it's the League Cup third round game, and we fielded a bunch of kids. So,
I think Costas had a half chance as well. He just couldn't sort his feet out quick enough.
Oh, he
came off the keeper, and he just tried to volley it straight back at him. He just couldn't sort his feet out fast enough. But I watched the first half, and I was like, we were moving it really well. We just couldn't get it into a front man to play a 1-2 and move their centre backs around. Other than that, we dominated the ball. And the one worry I had was when I watched these kind of games with the under-21s, when they've played in the Johnson Payne Trophy League thingy. Papa John's thing, yeah. They get out-muscled and outworked by the lower league players, and get blown off the ball. And tonight, there was none of it. We moved the ball well, but it felt like in the first half, no one was prepared to take a risk, to gamble.
It was a lot of...
it was very safe. It was like, I don't want to be the one to make a mistake and get caught on going the other way type of thing.
Yeah, it's what I call it's academy football.
Yeah,
it's nice and
football
nice
by
and
numbers.
It's nice and pretty. You're doing all the right things, but there's no impetus because that was really criticism of the first half. I thought it was very one paced, which made it easier for Derby to get back into a solid back four, get back in numbers. Because let's be honest, the three lads we had up front, we're never going to win a header. Because they're against a load of giants. It's just not going to happen. Jono says sounds like a Harry Potter character. I think he means
Freundorf. Freundorf has been at the club for a while. I think he's been at the club since he was 15.
Yeah, I think Stuart's similar, isn't he? I think he's been at the club since he was a kid as well. So it's nice to see young players.
Yeah, he was one of the first ones to come in under the last lot of the academy kids to come in with the Dutch kid who we sold on. I think he came in around the same time.
Oh, Hoover.
Yeah, and he's already played for Germany under 19s. This is the thing. Someone put in the chat earlier on about, you look at the Chelsea academy kids and they're all bigger and strong. These really are kids. These really are the kids. A lot of these kids would have played in the under 19, the Euro under 19s. So they're physically have got another 2 or 3 years before they're even considered first team, for senior football, even loans, You could see the likes of Freundorf and maybe Ben Doak down the line, but in about 2 years' time, you might see these players going out on loan when they're physically bigger and stronger. But at the minute, they're just nowhere near.
Yeah, but I think that's what the League Cup's for, the early round.
Yeah, it is. Of course it is.
You throw these kids in, because then it's like, it's a little bit sink or swim, but it's kind of then you take them back out and go, right, now you're starting to learn. That's the physical level you've got to get to. So again, it gives them a blueprint to work from. And look, the really good ones, talent will shine through. David says, Calvin Ramsey looks a very good player with the ball technically. He was excellent tonight. Probably one of the best players on the pitch, to be fair. So, to be fair to Liverpool, that's another smart signing, I would say.
Yeah.
Super Dizzle saying, what's the deal with Cade Gordon?
He's injured.
He picked up a bad injury in pre-season. Yeah. I think they say is it Jan-Feb before they're even expecting back from the kids. So, unfortunately for Cade Gordon, I think this is just a bit of a write-off season for him in terms of a first-team appearance. It's a shame, really, because he'd done well. So second half, we come out, no changes, and you and me, Kev, were having a bit of a WhatsApp chat like we always do, and we're sort of thinking, how long do you think he leaves it before he throws the three main lads on that he had on the bench? So we all thought maybe the hour mark, but Liverpool a lot more lively in the first 15 minutes. I thought, Fjorndorf got a lot more into it, and if you determined to try and get Carvalho a header, it just didn't quite come off. Didn't quite go for him. But Matt, how did you think Chamberlain did second half?
Really seemed to change his game almost. In the first half, he kind of seemed, somebody in our Telegram chat, I think at halftime, was saying that it's like he's trying to play like Thiago, instead of picking the ball up and driving at the defense, he was looking for these little chips over the top and these intricate little passes, and that's not really his game. In the second half, it seemed like he reverted back to type a little bit more. And then especially once Bobby came on, it felt like Chamberlain was freed up to move around the pitch a little bit more. Maybe that's just the injection of experience that was there. But I mean, the second half started a lot better. I mean, 5 minutes in, Derby gets a good chance from a throw-in, cuts across, it ricochets off of Nat Phillips. There's not much he can do about it. And Bird from them pulls a shot wide to the right. And then immediately we're back down the other end, and Chamberlain has a good shot that's deflected, and the keeper does well to get an arm on it. Yeah.
He did well, the keeper, actually, because he makes a couple of good saves. The other thing I'll give Phillips credit for is I think Derby had a breakaway quite late on, and it looked a bit of a 3-on-1 situation. And it
was literally immediately after.
Yeah, it was straight away after that. Yeah,
literally right after.
His position was excellent because he's in the perfect place to make it difficult for that guy. He's going to fizz it really hard in front of him, which is going to make it easier for Kelleher, or he's going to try and take it on himself. To get because I just think Phillips is just solid. That's all he is. But I thought, fair play.
That was intelligent. That's something what you would see. That's something what you'd see Virgil do.
Yeah, that's where you hide your weakness and play to your strengths.
Yeah, he positioned himself brilliantly for that. But it was the pace of the second half. I thought at that point the game was going to open up here. They were the first ones to make a few changes. Then we made ours. And you could see the intensity and the quality straight away. You could see the difference in levels between the likes of Harvey Elliott and some of the other kids, where Harvey gets his foot on the ball and he looks for ball. It was easier for him as well because, in fairness, he's looking for runs that Bobby makes and he's looking for runs that Darwin makes. It's easier for him, but at the same time, he does look for those balls, and his link-up play with Ramsey, I thought from the start, just looked natural. First time these two would have played together in front of a crowd, and not on a training pitch. It just looked easy for them. It was like they knew where each other were going. They knew where to be and when to be there. And the pace of it just picked up that little bit more. Someone said in the chat there earlier about Stefan Bacicic, or I can't say. I just got to call him Stefan. That he's a centre back. I think it was Laszlo. He is actually registered as a centre back, as a defender. If you look online, but I think he was a centre back in his in youth football. But he just looks like he's going to be a natural 6, and he looks like he's got balls of steel as well. He loves having the ball, and he doesn't care where he takes the ball. And
it's having that bravery to take a risk because it's not going to come off, and look,
yeah,
a lot of times it doesn't do that, but that to me is more what you want from a player who will take a risk. Now, as he gets older, he'll learn when to do the risks and when to play it safe. That comes with experience. You can't, that's just something he's going to learn. But I liked him. So we then brought on the 3 first teamers that were on the bench. So Harvey Elliott came on for Clark, which made sense because Clark, I just think he ran his course a little bit. Fjordov came off. We brought on Firmino. Stewart came off, who was isolated. We brought on Nunes. So he thought, okay, that's what we do. And literally, probably within a minute of coming on, great link-up work between Bobby and Elliott. Flicks it through, and it's just ahead of Chamberlain. But you went, that's the pace level. That's going to cause Derby issues. And then to give Ox's credit, he plays a wonderful ball, Kev, doesn't he, to Elliott, who
you could just see it on the telly. You could just see the run. Where the camera angle was perfect because the camera angle was right behind Harvey, and it was like, I'm going. Look there, and he makes the run, and the pass was perfect. It was almost a case of if Harvey was a step ahead, he'd have got his head on it and he'd have buried it.
Yeah,
it was just it was by the time he got to the ball, he was almost too tentative to put his foot through it. And credit to the keeper, he got his hand out, and because he was going the other way, he got his hand out, and it was a really good save. I mean, from a keeper who was doing his best Jordan Pickford impersonation from about the 3rd minute, diving on the ball and what have you.
It's a cracking save, to be fair to him.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the time waste and stuff, he had a really good game.
He did.
He did really well.
Matt's put a comment on saying Klopp said after the game that the sale won't have any impact on his future. Whatever happens, I'm committed to the club. But it's nice to hear. But I mean,
we'll see.
You wouldn't really expect him to say anything else, would you?
Yeah, he's got to project stability in any future transfers that are coming in. That look, if I go to sign, we might chat about it later.
Sorry, we're being told to give Matt a save. We don't want to.
No, that's okay.
No. Matt's got sharp elbows. Believe me, if Matt has got something to say, Matt will sharpen his elbows and blow the two of us out the water and just won't stop.
Matt also has the controls to StreamYard, so he can just mute us both as well.
He can just mute the 2 of us, and that'd be that.
But yeah, on the Jurgen Klopp thing, Matt. I mean, ultimately, it's a bit like us. He can't really say anything different until he knows if and when we're sold and who we're sold to. So until he knows all that,
yeah. You're expecting Klopp to rock up at his press conference and go, I want Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z to buy the team or I'm out of here. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, he's nothing if not a company man, Klopp. He doesn't cause waves. If anything, he calms waters in his press conferences. He's not the type like Conte to use his press conference to try to have a go at the owners or the players or something like that. So it's exactly what you would expect from Jurgen Klopp. Pure class.
Yeah, Dina points out the keeper got his first warning for time waste in 82 minutes. I mean, look, it's just...
I don't get that. I wish referees would just walk up to him and book him. End of story. Because that solves it straight away. 50th minute, your time wasting, booked. And that's it. It's done. You got 5 subs. If you want to dick about and get yourself sent off, that's on you, kid. You were warned. Just don't go up and... There's referees. I watched them I don't know, it was last season in the Champions League or in one of the European competitions. And he warned his keeper 4 or 5 times before he booked him. I'm like, what are you doing? Just go and book him. That's the end of this. That's the end of it.
It's my second biggest bugbear. My first one is still when there's a corner and the ref stops the corner and tells people, you two stop holding each other, pushing each other. Why? Don't warn him. Just give the penalty if you think it's a penalty.
Yeah.
Guess
I'll
what?
give a free out the other way if you think it's foul. It won't happen the second time.
No, because as soon as it happens, you go, oh shit, can't get away with this today. That's all you need to do. So, Matt, probably the last 5-6 minutes, he woke up. McGoldrick has an opportunity, but he doesn't connect well with the header, and Bobby Gruns on the other end tries to get ahead, and it's another good save by the keeper. And Kev had already messaged me saying this feels like pens, and I was really annoyed that he was right as well.
Yep. Yeah, Ramsey put a good cross in for that chance that Firmino had. Great work by Bobby to get in front and get that ball on net. Good save by the keeper. Wild Smith, that's a great name. So keeper gets some credit for having a good name. I just before we hit the 90th minute mark, there's just another example of Ramsey's defense. I thought his strength and body positioning at right back, maybe it's just because of the Trent context, and we live in that world where we overly examine every defensive action taken by our right back. But I thought he was strong, smart, didn't panic with the ball, wasn't hoofing it out. It was a really impressive performance for me. But the highlight of the last few minutes is Wayne Rooney doppelganger coming on.
Matt, there was no need to be that vicious with Chris. For God's sake.
Out he goes. Out he goes. He's gone. There'll be no more of him.
I apologize, my overlord, boss master man. But yeah, no. To me, from about the last 10 minutes, it felt like pens. It just did.
Pure pens.
Unless we were going to get, a goal from outside the box or a deflection or something would break for us. And it just never did. And the most important thing of the whole tie tonight, just get through. It doesn't matter. It was more important to get through because of the changes we made, because I want to see more of these kids in the next round, because the next round for this competition is straight after the World Cup before the league comes back. So odds are you're going to see the bulk of this core playing again with some of the players who haven't gone, just to try to get minutes back into their legs again for the start of the league campaign to go over Christmas and the New Year. So, it was, I think over the 90 minutes, we dominated the game, but I think we only really created 2 half chances, 2 good chances, but that was it. The Elliott one and the Stewart one. That was it.
Yeah.
See, Chris, have you learned your lesson now?
Yeah, you
can get around with Matt.
You can get pricks. Sorry, just so you know, the reason I'm really excited about tonight is I've just spoke to my 9-year-old daughter who actually went tonight, so she doesn't get to go to minute. Right. So I actually gave up my ticket, so she went with me dad. So I've just had a very excited 9-year-old ringing me to explain how great it is watching penalties and how easy it is watching penalties. So that's the reason I was really on pins for tonight's thing. I just wanted me to see a win. Yeah. So I was made up for it. So there was that, and I just don't like you two anyway. So fucking
I sprayed links and everything. What's that like?
So let's talk about penalties, because you were talking about Wayne Rooney doppelgangers, and oh dear, there we go.
Yeah, in all fairness, you had Dobby coming on, and you had the second reincarnation of Rooney.
Isn't it his cousin?
What the hell? It was like there was so much stuff written in the stars for tonight. You're going to have players on loan from Everton coming to Anfield to get their first senior goal.
Yeah.
And Liverpool get knocked out on the night that this club is up for sale and the club's in turmoil and yada, yada, yada.
The narratives were there just waiting to be grabbed.
They were everywhere.
Yeah. Just so you know, Chris Gold, I love that. Chris just done a Derby keeper impression. Fucked off. That's it. Sam Tandy before said, I thought my stream had frozen and realised it was just a keeper time wasting. That's how bad he was.
Yeah, he was good at it.
He was.
I gotta say, there's a moment in the first half. The ball went into our right back corner, and Ramsey went back, and he won the ball back, and he tried to exchange passes with Nat Phillips. and Nat Phillips ends up on his back and plays the ball with an overhead kick, which is like, that's just perfect. It's up there with a Cruyff turn at the San Siro and a bloodied head bandage sort of thing. Yeah, just something about Nat Phillips.
Emmett made a comment there, and Emmett is bang on, as Emmett usually is. You know, really enjoy these type of games.
Don't go overboard.
Look, really enjoy these type of games. No real pressure on us winning. You get to see the younger lads. The big difference and he's right. If the senior players were playing, and you get dragged into penalties with the senior lads on, then you're looking at the Saturday game, and you're like, everything and anything is going through your head. But as it stands tonight, everyone got a run out, and the penalty. I mean, when it comes to the penalty shootouts, were you confident going into it?
Yeah,
fairly confident. Yeah. What was that? Kevin Ball said. Jonathan said to Kevin Ball, "Typical Everton. Even when they're not playing, they're losing." I mean, it's quite a skill, that, because it's fair. So, be honest. What were you expecting the first five to be? Because I'll be fair, Bajcetic was not on my list. I think balls to steal by a kid to go, I'm taking one.
Yeah, give me the ball. That's what I loved about him, and you could see it through his performance all the way through the game. But then to say, I want to take one and give me the ball, I'll take the first one ahead of the senior players who were on the pitch. Yeah,
Dina points out.
I like that a lot.
Chris, you'll kick and tell their mates in 15 years' time. She's seen Ben Doak before the Ballon d'Ors. Have we spoken about Ben Doak?
No, we didn't.
But we will do. I'm glad that we missed that.
We'll come back to him.
So, what were you expecting the five to be then? And then we'll talk about the pens.
Go on, Matt.
I would have thought Firmino would have stepped up early, like probably the first one. Darwin, I was expecting. Tsimikas, I thought, would go back in there because he's showing that he's got the stones to take a big penalty in the cup. Elliott, I was expecting to go, and then I was thinking that Ben Doak was going to have a say in the penalty shootout.
I expected Chamberlain to take one of the first five because he's done quite a few of these League Cup shootouts. And to be fair to Chamberlain, his penalty technique's pretty good. Yeah, and I think his record in penalty shootouts is pretty decent. Yeah, so first pen comes up. The keeper's pretty much stood next to Bajcetic when he saves it, which is apparently all right because he gets warned after he saves it. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean?
This is why VAR is so important. And if you're playing at a Premier League ground and you have the technology there, fucking use it. It's a line decision because the linesman was obviously fucking told that the keeper went on a wander. Have a word with him. And the worst of it was his own fault. The keeper was stood behind the line. So not only do you have to concentrate to make sure your foot is on the line before you make the save, you have a player taking a penalty from 12 yards away at the same time. I mean, that's brain dead to me. But, he makes a save, he gets away with it, and the pressure's on.
Because you're thinking, 1-0 down, fuck's sake, here we go. Houlihan's coming up thinking, remember for his Villa days, decent strike of the ball. It's not the best penalty, but fuck me, Kelleher, he just saves pens, man. He's just got. I think he's got.
McGoldrick scores the first one, doesn't he?
Yeah. Ashley L pointed out earlier. Fun fact: Kelleher has more pen shootouts for than any other goalkeeper, and he's only got like 18 appearances. I mean, his record in penalty shootouts is ridiculous.
It is.
I was actually more confident in the League Cup final of him in goal than I was of Alisson because I'm just down. Yeah. But it gets the right way, saves it, and you think, fine, fuck for that. Right, back to 1-1. So we think, right, Bob, Ox steps up, leathers it, absolutely leathers it.
Yeah.
No keeper saving that. You sort of go, right, okay.
Normal service resumed then.
Normal service resumes. And then the next penalty take table is Craig Forsyth. Top save. And you're thinking, right, here we go. Bobby stepping up, 2-1 up. All's well with the world. And he does a bit of a Chris Waddle, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He waddles.
He's pointing at someone in the crowd. Don't know what he's pointing at. I mean, the keeper's a mile off his line as well.
No, I'm convinced that's what he was pointing at. He was pointing at the keeper way off his line when he struck the ball. But it doesn't matter. If you strike the ball and it misses the target, the keeper could be stood next to you giving him your phone number. it doesn't matter. If it's on target and he saves it, you'll get the retake. If it scores, it counts. So all Bobby had to do there was get it on target. And for whatever reason, his foot didn't slip or anything. He done the stutter, and he's done that technique a few times before. It just went over the bar.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose my shit over it. It's just one of those.
So then Selby stepped up, who actually did, I thought, a decent game, actually. The left-back fan. Good pen. Keller's got no chance with that. It goes the other way.
Yeah.
And then Darwin, who was getting abuse, was it? You're just a shit Andy Carroll. I mean, the Derby fans were just...
Yeah, all the old favourites came out.
All the hits came out from, Derby. So, bless them.
It is what it is.
Keeper probably should save it, to be honest. It's right at the court. It's very close to the corner, but almost first time he hit it, I thought the keeper got it. Relief the Adams. He thought, right. 2-2.
It was inch perfect.
Okay. And then, as Matt was talking about, the story's written. Everton loanee, Dobby steps up, Matt, and what a save.
Yeah, sorry, House Elf. I mean, I believe that is the proper technique, to trail with your weak hand when you're diving that way. And I mean, what a save. Strong hand. I said before the penalty started into the chat, I said, I like Kelleher to save one. And I was thinking at least one, but I mean, 3 quality saves. The last one, just the absolute pick of the bunch. Great save.
Yeah. And then Elliott, another youngster, wins it. Bit like the one a few years ago against Arsenal. That was Jones's moment. For Elliott, that's what you need. That's a big game, another big game moment that you've taken advantage of.
And it was the fact that he was the one who was given the 5th penalty. He was the one given the responsibility to see it out. Because look, if you're down to take number 5, it's all on you. And we got into that position to win it, and the pressure was all on him. And I've seen it before a few times when we've had these discussions on penalty shooters and left footers taking penalties. They just look all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
I was calm as you like with him taking that pen. I just think his technique of striking a ball is really good, and felt complete confidence in him. And went in, ran off, celebrations, everything. Love it.
Yeah. Isn't it weird watching a penalty shoot for Liverpool and James Milner's not taking first pen? It's so bizarre. It's so weird. I think that's why I was nervous. I didn't have that security blanket off. We'll always go 1-0 up because James Milner takes it. So it's that's the worry you always have. Right, brings up comment from Jono, because this has appeared in the chat. And look, I think this is just always going to be a conversation. Some agree with it, some don't. Jono, Keller leaves next summer, and Liverpool is a buyback clause. Too good to be a backup. And I've seen a few like Dino saying, why are we trying to sell off our players? I don't think we're trying to sell him off. I think it's more that he's such a good keeper. And is he going to be happy playing cup games and the occasional league games if Alisson gets an injury? Because he's a very, very good keeper. I mean, look, as a selfish Liverpool fan, just keep him because, what a player to bring in. But it's how much you can keep him. So what are you thinking, Matt? And Arnold Chill says, if I was Julian Wood, I wouldn't say any bid below 50 million for Keller. Homegrown goalkeeper of his quality at that age, you're laughing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's the homegrown thing, and you just don't worry when he's in goal. I don't anyway.
No, it's so nice. Adrian, good servant to the club, but it just puts a shiver down my spine when Adrian has to play for us. And I don't get that feeling with Kelleher at all. Very calm on the ball, like everything about him, commanding, looks big in the net and everything like that. I don't know if we get 50 million for Kelleher, because I agree with the comment you had up, I think it was from Jono, about having the buyback clause put in there simply because he's homegrown. If you can have a homegrown goalkeeper on your team, that ticks one of those boxes that you have to tick every year, all your lineups, you don't have to worry about it. But I don't think time is on his side. I think his age and his time to go off and be the number one goalkeeper somewhere will be, well, Alisson is still our number one goalkeeper here. If we have to sell him and we can get 15, 20, 25 million for him, that's fantastic, because we've built a pretty good little goalie factory at our academy. We've got a fair number of pretty highly regarded goalkeepers in the pipeline. And if we don't have a tyrant that has trillions of dollars to give us unlimited spending, we have to sell players. And some of the players you can sell, backup goalkeeper is a pretty good one.
Or you could do the Red Steve approach, Kev, and sign up for a decade and just let him be miserable.
No, I think the best one that I've seen, bar none, was what Chelsea did with Thibaut Courtois, where they put him on to Atletico Madrid for a 2-year loan.
Emma's just said the same thing. I think you were reading the comments.
No, I said I thought this would be the way that we should be going for a good while. It just makes the most sense. I want him long term, if he carries on the way he's going, to be the long-term successor for Alisson. Give him every chance to be the long-term successor for Alisson. Plus the fact he's a Corkman and I'm desperate for him to succeed. But he's not going to be the Republic of Ireland's number one as long as he's a number two at Liverpool, because Gavin Bazunu will be playing week in, week out at Southampton.
And he's in the championship.
For the Republic of Ireland, it doesn't matter. He's doing well. He's a good keeper.
Matt, let's not start that chat when we've got to play them in about 4 days.
No, but
Jesus,
Gavin Bazunu is a really good keeper. Kelleher needs to go somewhere and play week in, week out, and prove himself. It's all well and good coming in and doing it in a cup game where he's literally had nothing to do tonight but stand and go for penalties. Yeah. You know, he's had the quietest night he'll ever have in his life, and he needs to play.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes does make a good point. He also has to stay fit. He does seem to pick up a lot of very random injuries. He's been a bit unlucky with some of the injuries he's picked up, which doesn't also help either. So let's look at the chats. Right, before we go on to the highlight of the game, Anti Chill says, can we show some love for Kanate, who's been named in the French squad? Which, fair play to him, because I thought he'd missed out on the French squad because of that injury came at the worst possible time. But shows impressive.
Fofana getting injured at Leicester helped. Chelsea helped. The fact that he's in, and I think the fact is also that it's a 26-man squad, not a 23-man squad. And he was in the last couple of squads as well. Yeah, I'm delighted for him because it'll give him a massive confidence boost. And he just looks, I think he looked brilliant in a France centre-back partnership with William Saliba. You know, you put the two of them at centre-back with your man at what's his name? No, Koundé. The guy at Barcelona, Jules Koundé.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're talking like serious centre-backs.
The guys is German.
Yes, centre-back options for the next decade for France. But yeah, he's done really well. But the one I really want to talk about is Ben Doak.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kieran Thorne said, Doak for the 90s fans is Kanchelskis reincarnated.
Yeah.
He's just so exciting, isn't he? He's 16.
Yeah, Matt go first because
we talked too much.
Yeah, we talked too much.
I don't get the Kanchelskis reference. That's a little bit before my time, so I'll let one of you guys reminisce about. That's right. It's not that you're that much older than me. It's just that I didn't get into it until I was an adult, whereas you guys have had football in your lives the whole time. So Doak was great, with the exception of I think it would be his second touch. His first touch, he stood his man up, went past him with the burst of speed, and then he tripped over his feet. That wasn't great. You know, he beat his man in the box and couldn't get the ball from under his feet, and it went out harmlessly for a goal kick. But quick over a short distance. He seems to have like the balls glued to his foot. He's got bundles of confidence, obviously, from banging in the goals and for the unders. Just happy to go and take a run at somebody. And there's something about young attacking players. It's just that much easier to just get slotted in. Like Manchester United can throw 17-year-old Garnacho in on a Premier League game, and he didn't look too out of place because, you know, if the ball comes to you, you go and do that thing you've been doing as the best player on your team for your entire life so far, little kid. And yeah, he did good. So hopefully this bodes well for him in the future, that the schedule works around so that he can make a few more appearances for us, you know, on the bench and get a few more minutes with the first team, because he sure looks a player.
He does. Yeah. Red Steve saying Matt basically called them pensioners. He did. We'll have words off air about that. And as Dino says, he looks more physically developed than Clark, and he's 16, and he's 17 in like.
He's 17 in a couple of days.
Yeah, but he's just a kid though. He's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he's still learning his game, and the fact that he'd already made 2 senior appearances for Celtic before he come to us. You know, it just showed how much Celtic were desperate to keep him. I still don't. I'm sure he's left-footed. I'm nearly convinced he's left-footed, and
yeah, but he's not afraid of his right.
He can go on his right, and he was confident to go on his right, and he kept doing it. He kept standing his that, and was it what's his name, Selby or
Selby? Yeah,
Sibley,
yeah.
that was his name, and he was highly rated. You know, he was name checked in the press conference yesterday by what's his name,
Pep
Linders. Yeah, so he might make it into the second book. You never know, but it was
deflation. It's called.
He just looks to have that bit of arrogance about him. You know, that I'm going to be someone. You know, just look at me, give me the ball, look at what I'm going to do.
Kvaratskhelia has that sort of energy too, doesn't he, for a young kid?
Yeah, he does for a young kid. Yeah. And he's probably 3 years ahead of where Ben Doak is, you know, 3-4 years ahead.
Literally.
Yeah, the future's bright for him. I thought, I was hoping he might start tonight, you know, but that's just me being greedy because I want to watch him.
I think that's the right role for him coming off the last 15s in games. I think that gives him time to tire defenses, show his ability.
I mean, I don't care if we never see him again this season, you know, but it's like I'll go out of my way to make sure I can watch the under-19s in Europe again when he's playing.
They won tonight, didn't they? The under-23s.
The under-21s are playing against Dinamo Zagreb. I don't know how it went.
2-0, they won.
Oh, that's good. That's good because that's the European Premier League, I think. It's not a Champions League game. It's a different competition.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the other news a couple of points in the chat is it's good news for Kanate, but ex-Red Manny looks like he might be out of the World Cup, which is a bit of a blow for him, you know, because you don't want to see. Unfortunately, too many of them are getting this now. Unfortunately, getting injuries just before this World Cup.
I think with Sadio, it depends. He's got to have a scan, I think, in the next day or two. I think if he'd be okay for the knockout stages, Senegal will take him. You know, they'll take a punt on him because of who he is. If it was anyone else, they probably wouldn't.
I think he's going to play if his leg's not falling off.
Yeah, I don't think
he's got to be looking at it knowing it's probably his last World Cup where he's going to be at, you know, the height of his powers to help drag his country over the line. Like, I can see him really pushing hard for it and Senegal picking him. I mean, he's their best player.
Yeah, I think it depends on the injury and the severity of it. He'll do all he can to make sure he's right. If you're Bayern, you're climbing the walls. But the difference is the Bundesliga isn't back until, I think, the 18th of January. So even post-World Cup, he'll have a really good recovery and be ready for the second half of the season. So, yeah, if there's any remote possibility that he can go, I think he goes. But I think tomorrow is when the England squad is announced. There's a lot of squads announced today.
Is this the normal squad or is this the stupid 55-man squad?
No. This is the declared squads now, the 26s.
I never saw this 55-man squad.
No, nobody did. It was just like something that went out into the...
Perhaps just realised it was a stupid idea.
Yeah,
you know,
the England are naming this. Do you expect Trent to be in it?
I think so. Now they've already leaked that Reece James has been told he's not going to be risked. I think if he's going to risk a fullback, he probably would edge towards Kyle Walker because he could play centre back as well, and he's got more tournament experience. It's unfortunate for Reece James because he was playing pretty well. I think Trent goes. I'm not sure he'll play. You know, I think Henderson goes, but I think Henderson's going to be brought on as an impact sub. I've got a feeling they're going to name Calvin Phillips, which I do think is a bit weird because he's barely played because he's been injured.
Yeah, but I think Southgate will trust him. It's just a case of if he's anywhere near fit, then you take him because you're only going to really take 4 centre mids. Yeah, you know, the other two or three would be attacking midfielders. You know, so you probably take a gamble on one, and if that one is Phillips, who Southgate likes and uses a lot, then he will. He probably doesn't start ahead of Jude Bellingham, but he'd be an option maybe for the last game if you're already through. You know, if England win their first 2 games and their last game is against Wales, you play him and Henderson, like, you know, and you wouldn't be too worried about that.
It'd be interesting if someone like and Maddison's picked because look, Maddison. He's all right. I'm not a massive Maddison fan, but he's in better form.
Player.
He's an informed player, and sometimes you've got to go with the informed player. Like, I don't think Ivan Toney's going to get picked because of the rumor that's come out in the press. But he's informed, so he probably should go. So that's the bit. But I've got a feeling he'll just pick his favourites. I mean, ironically, they're also talking about a player that'll cost them in a knockout stage. They've got him. It's called Eric Dyer.
Eric Dyer, Connor Cody, and the fact that Tomori is sat at Milan and he's probably won't get a look in. I think it's a scandal, to be honest.
Yeah,
I agree with Sam Tandy. Southgate won't pick Maddison because he's not picked him in the earlier squads. And the thing is, the way England line up with that 5-2-3 or whatever you want to call it, similar to Conte, where would you play him?
I just think I always think if you...
I'd take him. I always think they're the sort of players
you throw for the last 20 minutes or half an hour. You 1-0 down. You need something.
I get the argument of why you take him.
That's why you take him.
I get that argument, but I look at what Southgate is going to do rather than what I think he should do. I think Southgate will look at it and he'll be like, I don't trust you. He brings someone that has already played for him, and he'll live and die by this decision. But I think Southgate, irrespective of what happens, unless he goes on to win it, will be gone at the end of this World Cup.
Yep.
I think he's gone by this World Cup regardless, personally. But I mean, look, England winning it's not for me. I think there are far too many better sides than England. So, but anyway, enough of that England shite talk. God.
I know. Yeah. Plenty. There's loads of stuff to chat about with the World Cup and stuff. But look, tonight is about the kids.
Rest of the week, then we've got night off tomorrow because Matt can't be bothered doing a viewer's voice.
No,
that's pretty much the rule. That Friday night, it's the last Premier League preview until after the World Cup. So it'll be me, Kev, Luke, and Matt. The four of us. We just thought because last one we'll do that. We'll get Matt and Luke's opinion of the news that broke earlier in the week. Because to be fair, I've had me say, Kev's had his say, so let somebody else have to say on it, and then we'll carry on talking about football. Saturday we'll do full-time Reds. Is it us three again?
Yeah,
more than likely.
And then Fat Back 4 on Sunday, and then after that,
there'll be Monday. Anything could happen. God knows.
Anything could happen. We could be sold.
Yeah.
We could be sold, or maybe I'll write a quiz just to really upset everyone.
But you know what was really nice about today? I didn't give a shit about anything that I was just looking forward to the game tonight. I don't know about anyone else, but there's going to be a lot of talk and a lot of gum flapping about this now online for the next however long. But the reality is, don't expect to hear a peep out of anything for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then maybe during the World Cup, you might see something. You might not. I don't know. But
if you're local and you're not asked about the World Cup, LFC Women, I think, have got from end of November 4 straight home games in the Conti Cup and also in the WSL. So that's something to watch. Are you being naughty again, Matt?
No. No, we might do a watch along of some nature documentaries with Keith just to show him that he would not win a fight against a giraffe. In fact,
I really don't fancy Gav's chances against kangaroos.
No, I don't.
Really don't.
Disadvantage.
If you don't know, if you're listening to this and be like, "What the hell are they talking about? What are they on about?" Go back to one of the shows last week. I think it was Gavin Keefe, random chats. Just enjoy.
Yeah.
Put it on play and just enjoy. It is one of the best.
They talk about Darwin Nunez after about 90 minutes. So
yeah,
they rounded off with some football at the very end.
Yeah, Red Steve is dead right. I mean, baby giraffes are 6 foot plus. I mean, I can't imagine Keefe as anything more than 5'8" standing on heels. So
yeah, cool. And
which he is known to do.
And the last one is our charity, Lydia. Who I said her name wrong. I apologise. I got her name wrong. For her battle with endometriosis. It's how much? Do we know how far we off the office now.
I think
we're not far now, are we?
3,800 pounds, and then the total's been raised to 6,200. The family got some more information about what the total costs were going to be for the procedure, so it's up from 5,000 to 6,200, but it's absolutely motoring along. So,
look, we've done this before, so if you can donate. Details in the description below. If you can't, just share it, because you don't know who that'll reach, and you might find someone. And as Kev always says, the 5s and the 10s is what will get you there. So just, if you can't donate, because look, we know times are hard at the moment, just share it around, and then look, let's try and get this lady some treatment, because it's a horrible illness to have to deal with.
Yeah.
But
100%. One thing, Chris, before we go, will you throw up Ashley L's last comment there?
Ashley L. Oh God, you're getting bossy now, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
I
think it's a really good, interesting comment.
This one.
Yeah. Do you want to read that out? And Mac can...
Klopp. Chelsea got sold. We are looking for investors. It is completely different. As far as I know, FSG are looking for investors, and that makes sense. Whatever happens, I am committed to the club. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Because that's, if they're in quote marks and that's what he said, that's a whole different spin on it if he's been told something in October. Apparently, Linda's come out in the press conference yesterday saying that they were informed that something was happening back in October. And then he's come out and made this statement tonight, probably asked a question, and you know what Klopp's like. You'll answer it, and he's straight.
Yeah.
So what would your initial thoughts be on that when you look at, because you know American sports and American sports investors more than most. So is it likely that Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Stanley would be involved in something like that, where they were looking to get direct investment into the club?
Even direct investment into the club, like if you look at like the Redbird deal, it's still, 750 million.
Yeah.
That's not.
That was into FSG as a whole.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're looking at selling 20% or 25% of Liverpool Football Club, you're talking $1 billion. So even if it doesn't, like, listen to your guys' shows, like, I don't think just necessarily it has to be a full sale just simply because, they've got these offer books or whatever they're called, offer sheets from these big banks and stuff like that. Even if it's only a partial sale of the team's valued at a shit ton of money. So there's a lot of money involved. And if there's ever anywhere that there's, $1 billion floating around, that one of these big banks is going to get their mucky fingers in there eventually. So that doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, Klopp coming out and saying anything that kind of directs how the story is going to get played is a bit surprising to me. I'm surprised he didn't flat bat that one and, just deflect and go on to the next question. So nobody's really any of the wiser, because, I mean, we've been on here, so we've been away from our Twitter ITKs, but I'm sure the geniuses on Twitter have it all sussed out for us by the time we get off. So,
yeah, I mean, because it does contradict, was it the Boston Globe, who were saying, that weighing up which option to do, sell it completely or sell a stake in it. And look, the Boston Globe is basically owned by John Henry.
And it literally is owned by John W.
Yeah.
You kind of know who the source is.
That's actually, Emmett's making a really interesting point there. Yeah. An investor can buy a controlling share, which essentially is new owners.
Yeah, that's it. Where FSG still
a minority stakeholder in the club, like Redbird are with the FSG group. So FSG could, retain an interest in the club while giving up, say, 50.1% of the equity within the club. He also made the point that they were looking to buy in, to add an NFL franchise. They can't afford to buy the Washington Commanders if Jeff Bezos gets into the ring.
No. Yeah. No, somebody earlier said that FSG has been kind of linked with an NBA franchise expansion into Las Vegas. And I believe there's some legs to that, because LeBron James wants to be an owner once he's retired. And LeBron James is in with FSG. So it only stands to reason that, because LeBron, I don't think, would have enough money to, fund the whole operation himself. So.
Yeah. The rumors, I think it was Dino was saying there, The rumors that they need $1 billion to regenerate Fenway Park, that will come from within Boston Red Sox own funds. That's no big deal. The thing is, when they redevelop Fenway, they have to do it because Fenway is like a listed building in the same way as a lot of buildings are in the States. They can only do so much, especially given but what they want to do is build a hotel, kind of like what Chelsea did. They want to build a hotel and the restaurants and like basically build a Red Sox park.
Yeah, make it a complex.
Make it yeah, exactly. But they'll be able to do that within the Red Sox without having to look outside. I mean, there's a lot of names flying about. The one that piqued my interest was the guy who owns the LA Clippers.
You were talking to me about this person.
Steve Ballmer?
Yeah. If he was anywhere near serious, that could be really interesting because this guy's net worth would put him above what the Man City and Newcastle owners is. And he'd be really interesting. But it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, and who knows what the story is.
I mean, John was saying, I don't get why a new investor would want FSG hang around. It's like living with your ex. It depends on the situation. If it's Steve Ballmer, who's ran sports franchises, but he's not been involved in football. And we saw when FSG first came in, when they weren't involved in football, made a lot of mistakes, lots of missteps of how things are done in that sport. So they may just have, it's almost like I run the show, but you almost use them as a bit of
your expertise.
A consultant here for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you're the controller stakeholder, and FSG and they can't stop you doing whatever you want to do because they don't have that power. That's the point of you running it. But
the other side to it is people can like it or lump it as far as I'm concerned. FSG, when it comes to the commercial side of football, are really good. They really do know how to maximize commercial revenue and get the best commercial deals that they can for the club out of it. So if you want to retain that expertise, it would make sense for someone to come in and keep that. And it would also make sense for FSG as a group to retain an interest in Liverpool Football Club because
it's a cash cow.
They'll never get another chance. Liverpool is still one of the biggest global brands in world sport. So, and they'll never get a chance to own something like this again. Unless they go out and try to buy the Boston Celtics, or the LA Lakers, because that's the kind of parity you've got with American sport as to a globally recognized brand as Liverpool are. So, we don't.
I am with John over there. Either way, I can't wait till it's done. Bored of speculating. It's already been 2 days in. Yeah, I must admit.
100%, Jonathan, 100%.
I mean,
join us on Friday as we talk about this some more.
Oh, yes.
Two of us will be talking about it more. Me and Kev, we've said our bit.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about the football.
Once I'll be quiet. I won't say a word.
We'll see how long that lasts.
It won't.
but listen, good night for Liverpool. Through to the next round of the Cup. We've got some exciting youngsters. We've got some rest pretty much.
Man of the match?
All the first team. Ramsey for me.
Matt?
Bajcetic for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kelleher because he loves saving a penalty.
He loves saving a penalty, but
it's true.
I couldn't split the two of them, to be honest. I probably would edge it to Ramsey, but only there was an awful lot about his game going forward and at the back that I like the look of a lot.
Yeah,
he just looks like we all didn't know what we were quite getting at £5 million. Is he this, that, and he got called up to the full Scotland squad for the first time.
See why?
Yeah,
dueling fullbacks for the Scottish team. Both play for Liverpool. That's a nice little feather in their cap.
Scotland have got a luxury of fullback at the minute because you got Tierney as well. So.
And they got the right back from Everton, the young right back from Everton.
Patterson,
who's played well. So
yeah,
so it's an area where Scotland.
But no, I'd edge it to Ramsey, but I wouldn't put up a strong argument against Stefan either. You know, I thought both of them were really, really good tonight.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Right, on that happy note, we'll see you guys on Friday. Would it be us three and Luke? And we'll talk about a bit more football and probably some other stuff. But up the Reds.